There's a particular kind of exhaustion that has nothing to do with effort. You've felt it before. You're not lazy, you're not weak. You're trying, genuinely trying, and yet you feel like you're walking into wind. Every solution creates a new problem. Every answer brings 3 new questions. Imagine someone sitting at a desk late at night. The room is quiet. There are notes everywhere, ideas written, crossed out, rewritten. And this person isn't giving up. That's the painful part. They're fully engaged, fully committed. But something is deeply wrong. Not with them, with the direction. Most of us were never taught to question the direction of our thinking. We were taught to think harder, not differently. Push forward, not step back. Add more, not remove. And so when life resists us, our instinct is to apply more force, more analysis, more effort in the same direction. But here's what nobody tells you. Sometimes the door opens inward. Stay with me. Something in this video might quietly rearrange the way you see things. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing, not for content, for the kind of conversations most people never have with themselves. You've been trying harder. You've been thinking longer, pushing further, staying up later, and somehow the problem is still sitting right there, unchanged, almost patient, like it's waiting for something. And the strangest part, the harder you push, the more stuck you feel. What if the direction is wrong? There's a concept that engineers sometimes use when a design keeps failing. Instead of asking, how do we make this work, they ask the opposite. What would make this fail completely? Then they work backward from that. It sounds simple, almost obvious, but most people never do this in their own lives. Because we're trained to move toward what we want, to set goals, visualize outcomes, take steps forward. And there's nothing wrong with that until it stops working, until forward motion starts feeling like spinning. Have you ever noticed that the things you desperately want seem to get further away the more you chase them? Confidence, sleep, creativity, even certain relationships. There's a reason for that, and it has nothing to do with your worth. It has to do with direction. Think about someone you know who talks too much. Now, think about what that actually is underneath the surface. An overflow of internal processing, an inability to stop connecting things, a mind that refuses to leave ideas unspoken. In the wrong context, it becomes noise. In the right one, it becomes presence, charisma, the ability to hold a room. The flaw didn't disappear, it was repositioned. This is one of the quieter secrets of people who seem to move through life with unusual ease. They're not more gifted. They haven't eliminated their weaknesses. They've simply stopped fighting them from the front and started examining what those weaknesses are actually made of. Stubbornness, repositioned, becomes resilience. Sensitivity, redirected, becomes perception. Overthinking, reframed, becomes depth. Nothing wasted, everything redirected. There's a psychological principle worth sitting with. When someone is told not to think about something, they think about it more. When someone is pressured to feel a certain way, they often feel the opposite. When a person is desperately chasing approval, people tend to pull back. This isn't weakness, it's how the human mind responds to force. And here's what's interesting. The same principle works in reverse. When you stop needing the outcome, you often move toward it naturally. When you allow discomfort without resisting it, it tends to dissolve faster. When you admit you don't have the answer sometimes surfaces on its own. Your mind doesn't always respond to pressure the way you expect it to. It sometimes requires the opposite signal. Picture someone in a difficult conversation, pressing harder, justifying themselves, defending every point, and the other person closes further with every word. Now picture the same person going quiet, simply saying, "You might be right." The room shifts, something opens. Same situation, opposite direction. What if the problem you're trying to solve isn't actually a problem? If it's information? People spend years trying to fix anxiety, trying to eliminate it, suppress it, medicate it away from the surface. And sometimes that's necessary, but often, underneath the noise of anxiety, there is a signal, a value being violated, a truth being ignored, a life going in a direction the deeper self doesn't agree with. The anxiety isn't the enemy, it's pointing at something. This is positioning reversal. Instead of standing in front of the problem trying to break through it, you walk around it. You look at it from the other side. You ask, what is this showing me that I haven't wanted to see? Some of the most significant turning points in a person's life don't come from solving problems. They come from finally understanding what the problem was actually about. Here's the one that cuts deepest. Most people spend their lives building an identity and then defending it. They become the responsible one, the strong one, the one who doesn't need help. And slowly, almost invisibly, that identity starts to run them. They can't ask for help because that's not who they are. They can't change direction because that would mean admitting the current one was wrong. They can't rest because rest feels like a contradiction of their entire self-concept. The identity that was supposed to protect them becomes the wall. And here's what reverse thinking reveals in this space. You don't always need to build more. Sometimes you need to question the structure itself. Not destroy it, question it. Hold it up to the light and ask, is this still true? Is this mine or did I inherit it from someone else's fear? The bravest reversal isn't always external. Sometimes it's internal. Quietly turning toward a version of yourself that doesn't need to be consistent with every choice you made before. Growth, sometimes, looks like contradiction. There's something beautiful about a person who has learned to think in both directions. They don't panic when the forward path closes. They don't collapse under contradiction. They become curious. They step back. They flip the question. Not because they're smarter, but because they've stopped treating their mind as a single-direction machine. Life is not a straight line, and the problems inside it rarely have front-facing solutions. The relationship you can't repair by force. The creativity that vanishes under pressure. The version of yourself you can't find by looking directly at it. These things often require a different angle. A pause. A reversal. Sometimes a step backward is the only way to see where you actually are. You are not stuck because you lacked ability. You were thinking in the only direction you had ever been taught. The mind that can reverse itself, that can hold a question upside down and see what falls out, that mind doesn't get permanently lost. It gets curious. And curiosity, it turns out, is the only compass that never points the wrong way.